I want to know how China views its problems, and like where does it diverge from the way the West portrays China's issues or problems?
Well, the West, insofar as I understand, portrays it a lot as, this is the problem of authoritarianism. It's a massive struggle between democracy and authoritarian regimes.
They still see that little red book.
Yeah, exactly. They have this kind of Maoist, Marxist-Leninist framework, whereas in China, they're thinking about structural issues. So what I have called the 4Ds are the real problems in China that policymakers understand.
Okay.
And those 4Ds are, number one, debt. You've got debt north of 300% of GDP. That's just a little bit lower than Japan, but that's a huge amount of debt, more than the US.
Okay.
Why does that matter? It matters because it crowds out investment in more efficient areas of the economy, and it crowds out domestic demand, which is the second D. Consumption has really underwhelmed and actually is underwhelming relative to pre-COVID trend because household savings rates have gone up. Households are less, less keen to spend like Americans, for instance. They don't use their credit card. There's no sort of tradition of using credit cards. People are more conservative when it comes to, spending durable goods, for instance. And that is obviously got knock-on effects for the rest of the world, because it means that if China wants to keep growing at 5% of GDP, then it needs to export even more to the rest of the world to maintain that growth.
Okay.
So it's the other side of this demand and debt problem.
So if China's population is not bearing the brunt because it's not spending as much, it's not creating as much for China's economy, then China has to get that spending outside of China.
Exactly. And the strength of the American economy is that it is consumption and services based. You guys spend so much.
Not you guys.
But so that policymakers, they want to get to some version of America where they want to be more consumer services led.
Yeah.
But they're not willing to see, a massive slowdown in growth, meaning, winding down exports in order to achieve that rebalancing in the economy to be more like the American model. So it's a very difficult balancing act for the policymakers. And then the third one is one of the, I think, most challenging issues is aging population demography. The third D is demography. The fact that, now we have the lowest birth rate since 1949, since since the communists came to power.
Wow. That's why I think you moving back home will be good.
The fertility. Increased fertility.
Nice young man. Settle down. Leave the 4Ds alone.
I didn't know this was going to be this kind of podcast. There are too many tech bros that are talking about pro-natalist policies.
Oh, wow.
But speaking of, there is this one guy in China who's fascinating. Just a side note. And I'll talk about the fourth
podcast
D.
Is a side note.
It's a side note.
Yes.
Okay.
Feel free.
Good. So there's a demography professor who is also the chairman and founder of C-Trip, which is China's big trip booking platform.
Okay.
And he is now paying his employees $50,000 per baby because he's so worried about the demographic issue in China. China's replacement rate is now about 1, meaning that the population is shrinking.
Right.
By 2040, 1 in 3 people will be above 60. Just think about
because Germany's is currently like 1.4.
It's slightly higher than China.
Yeah, and then Japan's is
lower.
Isn't it
Japan and Korea
below 1?
1, yeah.
Yeah, so Japan is not replacing people.
It's not replacing
so
people.
China is at 1.
At about close to 1, exactly. And that's a huge implication for growth, because if you have an increasing number of the economy above 60, 1 in 3 by 2040, then who's going to pay for
your social
the
services falls apart.
And exactly. And who's going to drive productivity when you have, ever shrinking labor force and ever-shrinking youth population. So that's the demographic challenge. And they're trying to subsidize it by giving people more money to have babies. But women, this is the thing that's understated, I think, in Western media. And this is why it's actually, if you watch videos on Chinese TikTok, there's a lot of...
Is that Weibo? Or is it just...
It's Douyin, like Douyin and Xiaohongshu, which is Red Note.
And that last part.
Xiaohongshu.
Yeah.
It's
Xiaohongshu?
Yeah.
Because sometimes I feel like you are Xiaohongshu.
Xiaohongshu? I can roll like that. 谢谢 Eugene. Xiaohongshu.
Oh my God, you have such a good accent.
Oh, thank you very much.
Yeah, no, seriously. Seriously, you could go on to Chinese TV. And
Okay.
Oh,
That's
damn.
All
No,
right,
Eugene. Excuse me. A wise man once said, compliments are best
Okay.
when they are shared with others. So please, Alice, please carry on.
What was I saying? It was demography.
Yeah, you're talking about demography and you're talking
Chinese,
about Chinese
Oh,
TikTok.
okay. So
Yeah.
girl bossing is a huge trend on Chinese TikTok.
Okay.
So women telling other women, don't go and get married and have kids. Find a younger man and just enjoy your life and be focused on your career.
Really? This, you know, this is the funny thing about like the world.
See, now you got him excited.
No,
Look.
it is. You know why? Second system effects. You know, I love them.
Yeah.
Right. The concept that we never know what the effect of something will be. The second effect of something will be. Okay. So we know that we're going to make a computer. We don't know that the computer will lead to the internet. We know that we'll have the internet. We don't know that the internet will lead to e-commerce. We don't know that e-commerce will lead to, we don't know. You can do anything in life, but you don't know what the second system effect will be. You can't always predict it. One of the things I think we've taken for granted with choice in general, for men and women, contraception, all of these things that we've come up in society is people now can choose whether or not they want to have kids. And we're basically living in like the first sort of generation where that's a possibility.
Yeah.
If you think about like the last maybe 100 years, maybe even less, it's the first time where people can like choose how they want to live their lives. Before, life just happened to you. And now if people choose how they live their lives, it might not go well, is what we are learning. But we don't know how it's going to end. Do you know what I mean?
Shisha.
Thank you. What?
Yeah,
How do you say
Yes.
like I get it?
我懂了，我懂了。
我懂啦，
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 我懂啦。
我懂啦。
So, but you are part of the problem.
Or you could say that men may be a part of it. Take some ownership.
You're at your prime. You're doing this incredible work.
Eugene was sent here by your parents, by the way.
But the thought of settling down, you're now, where are we at with it? Because I'm sure if they see someone who's in your position doing what you're doing it, you can influence some people into having kids for $50,000.
You mean be an Asian trad wife?
Well,
The Asian version of Secret Life of Mormons.
but why is it not fashionable anymore for young women who are successful and professional in China to aspire to having a partner and having children?
There's a couple of reasons. You see this as a global phenomenon. Once you get to a certain degree of, per capita GDP or economic outcomes in a country, and that translates to education outcomes for women, they decide that the trade-off of having babies versus incremental growth in their career becomes, not an attractive prospect. So they focus on their career as opposed to having more babies. But in the China context, I have a hypothesis, which is that the one-child policy, back to your point about unintended consequences, meant that you had, for the first time in Chinese history, because China is a country, I'm sure you guys are familiar with this concept of having many children is a fortuitous thing, especially boys. 多子多福, which is a Chinese expression. The more boys you have, the more lucky the family is.
Yes.
They changed that with the one-child policy, which is government intervention. And then I don't think of any other country in history where you have mass concentration of parental time, energy, and resources on one kid. And if that's a girl, then you were expecting that girl to go out and conquer and, get a PhD, run companies, do incredible things. She's incentivized.
The one child.
She's incentivized to be successful financially.
She's the one child.
All resources are pulled towards her.
Towards her, as opposed to a brother,
That's something we take for granted as well, is when we live in a world where everything has become hyper competitive, getting into a school, getting a job, etc., 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 it means that it's safer for you to put all your resources into one child than to disperse your resources amongst many. Because if you have one child, you can afford their tutor, you can afford their extracurricular activities, you can afford their piano lessons, you can afford... But if you have many children, you now risk having a wonderful Brady Bunch who just like plays with toys and has fun, but they may not be elite. You can't afford to make them all elite.